Hi, everybody, and I am using my old intro that I use for more serious videos because I didn't think it was quite appropriate to use the Power Thetans theme tune as usual. Yesterday, obviously, England went head to head with Denmark. It was a draw. And on the topic of Denmark, that's what we're talking about today. I was alerted to a social media post from a Scientology parent. Now, I have redacted that parent's name from the screenshot I'm about to show you. I've also redacted the child's face from the picture because I think it's best for privacy. But this post was on social media. It's a parent of a child in Denmark. This is said post. I'm just going to read it out to you. Hello, friends. My daughter, who will be 10 years old in a few days, will start the purification program in the Denmark Ideal Organization at the end of June. If you are in Denmark or can come so that your child can also go through the purification program, write to me. I will be happy to help as a dissemination secretary. P.S. Her name is Maria, and she speaks Ukrainian, Russian, English, and Danish. So probably your child can be her twin for the Purif. This is a picture of 9-year-old Maria, who will be 10 very soon. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because it's not okay. I'm sure the parent, who is a Scientologist, fully believes that by putting her daughter through the Purification Rundown, that's going to help her spiritually. I don't believe that this parent necessarily thinks what she's doing is harmful, because this parent is probably a Scientologist. But that doesn't mean it's not harmful. The Purification Rundown, for those of you who don't know, is the first step on the bridge to total freedom. It's the first major service you do in Scientology. And it involves taking thousands of milligrams of niacin, drinking a drink called CalMag, which is a mixture of calcium and magnesium. It's a horrible drink. You also drink huge amounts of oil. And the whole idea, and this is how they described it to me, is that combination of vitamins and supplements loosens up the toxins that are stored in the fatty tissue of your body. Then you sit in a sauna for several hours, extended periods, every single day. Again, when this was pitched to me when I was in Scientology, I was told, don't worry, it's totally safe because the sauna is at a lower temperature to normal commercial saunas, and therefore it's safe to sit in for extended periods of time. But the reason you do that is you sweat out those toxins that have been released by taking all those supplements. Obviously, there is no scientific backing or evidence to prove these things work and prove these claims that were made by L. Ron Hubbard when he developed the program 70 years ago, 60 years ago, whenever it was. Now, the program itself has been known to be very harmful for adults. People have died doing the Purif at the Narconon Center in Arrowhead in the US. Narconon is the drug rehabilitation program that Scientology operates, and basically it's the Purif plus some of the other services on the bridge, TRs and objectives and that sort of thing. But the whole point of the Narconon program is to cleanse your body using this purification technology L. Ron Hubbard developed. So yes, people have died from doing this program. It is done without medical supervision. It is done with a doctor signing it off beforehand to do a general check to make sure that the person is fit and healthy, and they say, yes, it's okay to do the program. But quite often these doctors that are used to sign it off are familiar with Scientology, if not Scientologists themselves. And these people often say, yeah, no problem. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. Happy Friday. Often these doctors are given misinformation or a lack of information before it's signed off because Scientology don't want to give the full story. So this poor child, Maria, is going to be forced to sit in a sauna for hours a day, take thousands of milligrams of niacin in a program that has been known to be very, very dangerous. It's going to be happening in Denmark at the end of June, so in the next week or two. This is the Purification Center at the Church of Scientology in Denmark, where it will be happening. So this is where Maria will be in the sauna. You also have to do a lot of running on the program. And let's see what Scientology have to say. Scientology say, the founder, L. Ron Hubbard, developed the purification program to free individuals from the mental and spiritual damage caused by drugs and toxins through a regimen of exercise, sauna, and nutrition, all of which are provided for in the Purification Center. The mural pays homage to Denmark's intrepid spirit and symbolizes a new dawn for Copenhagen. So notice the wording there. It says, whole point is to free individuals from the mental and spiritual damage caused by drugs and toxins. They're being very careful not to actually say the Purification Rundown does any medical, scientific, or physical benefit to any human being. They haven't claimed that because it's not true and they wouldn't get away with it. So I'm raising awareness of this because poor Maria is going to be forced to do this. And I personally think that that is a form of child abuse. So what I did was I contacted the authorities in Denmark. I obviously am not a Danish resident, but I'm concerned about this child's safety. This is the translated page where you can submit a form online to say, hey, I'm worried about this child and what's going to be happening to them. I'll put this link in the description if any of you want to do the same. I know a number of you already have. But I always try and follow up what I do with action. So I didn't just report on it on my channel. I made a report and I made a statement that I said, this is why it's dangerous. This is what's happening. Here's a picture of the screenshot that the parent is saying that they're going to put the child through. I highlighted the fact that people have died during this program and it's not okay for a child under the age of 10 to be doing this. A child under the age of 10 doesn't have the ability to consent to things, right? It's still growing and developing. Legally, children cannot consent, as Serge Delmar reminds us. I also wanted to share with you the length and depth of the sort of stuff that I do behind the scenes when I make reports like this. Recently, I was working with The Guardian, The Observer journalist, Shanti Das, who did a massive expose on the Narconon program here in the UK. So I have a wealth of documents about the Purification Rundown that range from Clear Body, Clear Mind, the book that it's based on that L. Ron Hubbard wrote, the Purification Delivery Manual, and a bunch of reports written by various doctors, physicians, professors, and so on about the program and how harmful it is. So these are the 16 documents that I shared with the authorities, including different evaluations by different professionals. The Swedish National Health Board did an evaluation explaining that the Purification Rundown is dangerous in 2007. So I shared that. I also shared a number of articles. For example, Norwegian Health Services did a similar thing. The Guardian article, David Hogg, who is a doctor who analysed the rundown and its effect on people's health. A lawsuit called the Chimblow Complaint, which I won't go into now. Stephen Kent, who is a professor of sociology at the University of Alberta, also did a lengthy report on the Narconon program. Obviously, this child is not going through the Narconon program, but the Purification Rundown is part of Narconon, and it's the same thing. So that's why this is relevant. And also the Scientology books, Purification, Illustrated Answer to Drugs, Clear Body, Clear Mind, and the agreement that someone has to sign before they do it, and the delivery manual. So I shared all of this with the relevant authorities in Denmark. I don't expect to hear back from them. I'm not a relative of Maria's. They probably won't keep me up to date. But what I did do is provide my contact information and say if there's any resources or information I can provide as someone who is a former Scientologist, I'm more than happy to help in any way that I possibly can. Two other channels, Scientology Up North and L. Ron Hub Cult, which is a great channel name, by the way, are two protesters that have been going out in Copenhagen protesting pretty much every day from what I've seen. And they live in Denmark and they've been doing a really good job. As soon as I saw this post, I reached out to both of them and said, hey, this is happening in Denmark. You know, here's all the information for you to report it to law enforcement. I believe they have as well. And they will be joining me on my channel here on Sunday, where we'll be talking a little bit about how we've been collaborating on this and the dangers and so on. So I'm just trying to illustrate here that we work stronger together, and we're all here in Europe, and we can do what we can to help each other out and try and protect Maria before she has to do the purification rundown. That's why I've titled this hashtag Save Maria, because Maria is a child. She isn't able to consent to doing this purif, and it's not going to be good for her mentally or physically. Tony Ortega, the journalist who has the Underground Bunker, also wrote an article yesterday, or earlier today actually, which is all about this sort of kids doing Scientology and auditing and the current push that we're seeing in promotional activities. He highlighted the fact that school is out, if not already, very soon. Children will be finishing school for the summer, and Scientology knows this. There are going to be dozens, if not hundreds, of children around the world whose parents don't know what to do with them because they've still got to go to work, but their kids are off school. So Scientology orgs around the world, including Orlando, they've been the most prolific, have pounced on this as an opportunity to try and recruit children, young children, onto their services, and the Purif is the first major step on the bridge to total freedom. So that's the big one they've been pushing. Tony Ortega shared this in his article. This is a piece of promo from Orlando. He also has blocked out the names and the faces for privacy, but this is the sort of thing that you can see they're saying. Give your children the tools to success in life. Get them on course in Orlando. He also shared this picture that I shared with you about Maria. And I just think it's really important to note that this isn't just Denmark. This will be happening in every org around the world in which Scientology operates. They will be wanting to get children on and up the bridge as young as possible. And when you're 10 years old, the long-term damage that doing the purification rundown is going to have on your health is so much more significant. Or so I understand it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional, but that's what I've read in all of these reports and analyses of the actual program itself. I also want to take a moment to reshare this, the Guardian article that was about the Narconon program. Again, Narconon different to Scientology in a way, but it is the same program. It's the Scientology program. It is the Purification Rundown, even though it's delivered under the Narconon banner. And I just wanted to share this quote. My mind had been shattered into a million pieces. That is what someone said who did the Narconon program, who was trying to get help getting off drugs and thought that Scientology might be able to help with their purif. If that is the effect it has on an adult, what effect is it having on a child? That's my question, and that is why this is a matter of real concern. So this isn't exactly a cheery video, but it's something that I wanted to raise. I will be continuing to talk about this and share the hashtag Save Maria, because she's not the only one. But if we can get law enforcement to look into one case, that's going to start the ball rolling in Denmark. We know ahead of time that a child is about to be forced through this program. It's not very often we find that out. Normally we see pictures of kids holding their certificates or parents saying, I'm so proud my kid finished this service. By that time, the service is already completed. And from my experience, it's at that point hard to get law enforcement involved. Whenever I've spoken to law enforcement here about children at St. Hill, they've often said, we need to know about someone on services right now, not someone who has completed services. So this is a rare chance where we know about something ahead of time. So we have an opportunity here to try and stop it happening. If we can get Maria taken out of that situation so that she doesn't have to go through this against her will, that would be great. Who knows? We may not be successful, but I wanted to raise it with you guys so that you were also aware. Jeremy, how's it going, buddy? Niacin will cause capillary expansion, causes you to flush and turn red, feel itchy, and it's uncomfortable. Good for cholesterol, amongst other things. Only an adult would need it for, not a child. Exactly. And Jeremy knows what he's talking about. Jeremy is a friend of mine. He is very good with his knowledge on nutrition and so on. Sad, it is basically brainwashing. Create high-stress environment until the point where the Scientology solution becomes a powerful mental memory that builds psychological dependency in a child. Precisely. And think about what that's going to do to your brain and your susceptibility. If you're sat in a sauna for 5 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks often, sometimes it's even more, what's that going to do? You're going to be dehydrated, you're not going to be thinking straight, you're going to be suggestible, and you're going to be susceptible to these control techniques that Scientology use. It's going to put Maria, this poor child, in a state where she's even more vulnerable than she already is. It's not okay. This is Maria. I'm going to bring it up again. She's 10 years old. Obviously, I have the uncensored photo and I have the name of the parent, which is the one that's the version that I shared with the law enforcement in the hope that they will be able to do something. But still, there is a face behind this picture, and this poor child is going to be going through something really horrible. So if we can stop that before it happens, that would be great. Danielle Chamberlain says, hello, hi, guys, on a different topic. Tomorrow, Danielle will be joining me here on my channel, where we will be talking about an interesting topic, the topic of love in Scientology and how love doesn't really exist in Scientology scripture. So stay tuned for that one. Karen, hi, Karen. Hello, Mary Kay, London. I just wanted to make sure I said hello to some of you in the chat. Danielle, it's so dangerous. She's a child. Yes. Again, people have died from doing this program. In what world is it acceptable to force a 10-year-old to take thousands of milligrams of niacin and sit in a sauna for extended periods of time, hours upon hours every single day? Especially a child that's 10 years old. In what world is that acceptable? So I would like to encourage the Danish authorities to step in and prevent this abuse from happening. And I hope you will join me in that fight. Guys, there is a lot more that I want to update you on, but I feel like I want to round it up in this one little video with that one topic. And I'll come back a little bit later with some of the other news I've got. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. And if you can do something, please do report it to the authorities. And let's see if we can stop this before it happens.